Hi everyone, this is an assembly guide for a universal TV stand. It's rebranded with a variety of different names. They're all the same unit that's manufactured in China. It's actually very well constructed and engineered, and the parts are put together quite well with a decent little instruction guide. A video guide is always better. As you can see, the hardware comes in these nicely labeled pouches. And this is all the stuff that comes with it right here. So we're going to start off with the bolts that are in the A pouch. These bolts will fasten the two parts of the stem. So they give you a couple Allen wrenches, that sort of thing. That's going to kind of hurt your fingers over time. Hopefully you have an like a ratchet screwdriver with fittings, Allen wrench fittings. Makes it easier doing anything like this. So the first thing is we're going to be putting the stem together. Now this you're going to want to fasten. First you want to figure out what the height is going to be on your TV. Do you want it like a person's height? Average person's height, and probably want it almost as high as it will go, as opposed to if you want it like a child's height or shorter, then you can shorten it. You can always change this over time, but it's 8 screws here, so it's a lot. To just be randomly doing, over and over again. So, maybe it's a decent idea to pick what you're going to do. So it's 4 on each side, and then you got these little plastic grommet things. Now that's because in the stem you can actually put the wire, the electrical wire and so forth, through this stem from the TV to the bottom, so you don't have wires hanging out. It's actually a rather nice thing. And then you have, here's the 4 screws on the other side. So hopefully I'm not going to go through that whole thing. I don't think I do. No. And that's it. Make sure you snug those down pretty good. Crank them down. I wouldn't use your super strength and strip them. So the next part's going to be the base. And the base has 2 brackets that go around these holes. The flat one goes on the white side, and the one with the grooves and so forth is going to go on the black side. Just basically like I'm showing you here. Now what's going to happen is the stem is going to fit into the black side here, into the bracket. So if you're doing it by yourself, you're going to want to elevate the stem just slightly. You can use just another part of the assembly to kind of elevate it like an inch, just so you can slide it into that bracket level. It makes it easier to screw it in. As you can see here in a minute, the stem has 3 screws that the base screws will go into. So make sure you put it in the same configuration there, and then you just basically slide it in and then push the screws in and screw the screws in, and it fastens, and then you crank it down. Don't again use your super strength and break it, but you want to make it reasonably snug. And once you've got this thing cranked down, you're going to want to set it up right. Oh, wait a minute. Actually, we've got to put we have to have the inspection. Yep, okay. Now the inspection is done. You got to put the little plastic feet. I didn't measure these, just put them on the corners. Try to put it, about the same distance from the edge for each one, so that it doesn't wobble. But just basically like I'm doing right there. Once you got those little feet on and set it up right, we're going to begin working on the shelf. So the shelf is actually fastened to the unit, the stem, with a bracket. So the bracket, if you're doing it by yourself, I just laid the bracket flat on the base and lightly fastened it. You don't want to tighten it down if you're doing it like I'm doing it here, because you have to slide it past the lower grommet there. So I just sort of got it so it's hooked in, and then I slid it up past the grommet for where I could fasten or put in the other screws. Again, don't crank it down just yet, because you want to slide it to the height that you want it. This thing is going to hold your cable box and your whatever you want to put on it. All right, so the next part, this is the actual TV bracket. Has an arrow on it for which side is up. Figure out where you want to put it on the stem. There's a couple of different spots based upon the height again. It just depends how high you want the TV to be. Again, I picked the highest side. 2 brackets go on the back, and these, as you can see, are staggered where the bolts go. And then you basically just stick the TV bracket against the stem and screw in those bolts exactly as shown. So this is it. This is the stand. So now the next part is putting the brackets on the back of the TV. These are supplied with the unit. They also give you some bolts, as you can see. Now the TVs all have the holes in the back of them, the newer TVs anyway. But they don't often give you the bolts. So the universal one that came with mine gave me some bolts, but none of them fit. I mean, they were the right size to screw in, but one was too short, one was too long. So what you do is you take the one that has the correct thread and go to Home Depot and get the right length. Now, I must have missed a clip there to me finding the correct one and fastening those in and then hanging it. And I apologize for that, but you basically just hang it on there. It's real simple. Something you have to do after you hang it, though, is put the lock screws on, just as I'm showing you here. This is very important because it prevents the TV from coming off. You can't just take it off if you put these lock screws on there. It could fall off, get knocked off, whatever. You put these lock things on there, and it's on there, and it ain't coming off. Like I said, nicely engineered. So that's it. That's the finished product. I do hope that my little instruction guide helped. I know there's probably a couple other ones out there, but hey, anything that helps other folks, because I know I use YouTube and get a lot of help from it, I return the favor.